Welcome to a new video. I hope you had an amazing day. Let's take a look at some new stories, shall we? The first story is called Stadium Compliance. I used to work in a soccer stadium in a box area for very important people, running food and beverages from kitchens and cool rooms to the boxes. So the stadium was going through a bit of renovation, and therefore they built a bunch of marquees on scaffolding for the guests. Because it was a temporary structure, we didn't have a kitchen attached like all the other boxes, and all the food needed to be brought from the kitchen from the opposite side of the stadium. So once the guests finished eating, I have to take all the dirty dishes stacked about 6 feet high on bread crates all the way back to the kitchen on the other side of the stadium, where the dishwashers are. To go to this kitchen you have to take a lift to the second floor and go into a special bar area and do a sharp turn into the kitchen. We had a manager, let's call him David. He took care of that section and the guests. He had spiky hair, was overly self-confident, and was a know-it-all type dude. So I took all the dirty dishes halfway around the stadium, took the lift, and was going to push the cart into the bar like I have done 100 times. And I meet David. He was like, "Where are you going?" I told him that I was taking the dishes to the kitchen. And then he was like, "No, you can't take it into this bar." I tell him that I'll be in there for 2 seconds and then we'll be inside the kitchen. He was still firm on not taking it in there. I was tired of walking all the way across and wasn't going to argue with him. So I said fine and left the cart with dirty and smelling dishes stacked to a height of a human right outside the entrance to the bar. And I left and told my supervisor what happened. So, all night, all the guests, the shirt sponsors, club shareholders, everyone got into the lift to go to the bar, and when the door opened, they were greeted with a huge stack of unwashed dishes. The next week, my supervisor called and said to me that I can take the dishes into the bar to take it to the kitchen from now on, no problem. Apparently, the poor dishwashers had to wash the dishes early into the morning, hours after everyone had left. The next story is called Discount Compliance. While walking through a big box store's discount section, I saw a high-quality standing mixer on sale for $100 because it was an open box. I enjoy cooking and had always wanted to get into baking, so I picked it up and went straight to the checkout with it. When I got home with my new, heavily discounted price, I realized that inside the box was indeed a standing mixer, but it was from a far less expensive one. Someone had obviously switched it out to get the one on the box for the low price, which just so happens to be $100. I was disappointed and ended up taking it back. When I took it back, I explained that there was a mix-up of the mixers, and they agreed that someone had switched it out and just gave me my money back. That would have been the end of it, except I had to go back to the store 3 days later, and, while going through the discount section, I saw the same box with the less expensive mixer still in it. The yellow discount sticker said the more expensive manufacturer, and it was still $100, and I was a little mad that they would put this back out there, knowing all too well there was a different model in there. So of course, I bought it again. This time, after checking out, I took it straight to the returns desk, and the conversation went somewhat like this: "I just bought this mixer, and on the outside, the box says that it is from this manufacturer, and on the sales sticker, it says it as well. But inside is a completely different model. Obviously, I believed I was buying something else and I would like this mixer. Sorry, we can't sell you this one for that price." This went on for a while, and the store manager got involved and said he wouldn't sell me the model at that price. I pointed out how the box and the sticker advertised this model, but inside was the worse one, and that this is basically a version of either false advertising or bait and switch. But he wouldn't budge. Unfortunately for him, I had recently lost my job and had nothing but time on my hands, and I told him that I wasn't leaving until I got my way. We went back and forth for 40 minutes until he called his district manager at my request, and she finally said, "Just give it to him." None of this would have happened if they hadn't put that thing back out there for sale, making someone think they were getting one thing and getting something else. That's super shady and messed up. The third story is called No Phone Compliance. To start, I work at a data center regulated by a military company. We have a very strict no phone policy. Since this policy was made by the company, it basically trumps everyone's position in the office. My desk is located near my boss, who has an office. When he gets in, he has meeting after meeting to go to, so it's typical for him to come in, throw his stuff down, and leave for the day's meeting. The thing is, he has the annoying habit of leaving his phone on the desk, on loud, so when his alarm goes off, it blares out everything else. I'm a system administrator, so my job is to help users with their access to our systems. Part of this is calling them, and when I do, they tell me all the time that they couldn't hear me over the alarm. Our clients are all over the world, and some even deemed it disrespectful from all the background noise. One day, when my boss had done his typical routine of leaving, I asked him if he could turn off his alarm. I've been getting complaints from the users. He said, when you're in my position, you can do whatever you want. So shut up and do what I pay you for. I have no choice because I honestly don't know what to do in this situation. Anyway, he leaves and I carry on. I get a call from one of our top clients in Japan about some users having trouble accessing applications. Midway through this call, my boss's phone alarm goes off again, and the user starts complaining about the call experience. I had enough and told the user to give me a few seconds so I could silence the phone alarm. Obviously, I can't get into the phone, so I press any key that usually silenced alarms. While I'm doing this, my boss walks in and catches me. "What are you doing in my office? Get out and don't ever touch my stuff again, or you're fired." "Sir, our Japan clients are complaining about the background noise and call quality. You heard me, don't touch my things. And let them complain, I'm the boss here." He also added that if anyone wanted to challenge him, try it. I'm thick-skinned, but at this moment, I was heated. I sat down, closed my eyes and took a deep breath. I looked down on my desk to see a flashing light indicating someone on the phone, and I had completely forgotten about the client on the other end. I picked up the phone and turned mute off so the user could hear me again. Before the user could even speak, my boss's alarm starts going off. The user eventually hangs up from frustration. I got the great idea that if I could get enough users to complain about the phone, something could happen. About 80% of the calls I took had the alarm noise in the back. I went as far as to roll my chair as close to my boss's door as possible, for the alarm to be as loud as possible. The users begged me to turn it off, but I told them I couldn't. I honestly wasn't trying to be a jerk to users, but my hand was tied and the boss wouldn't do anything. I needed to either leave or make him leave. The users kept complaining, I kept denying to touch the phone. They started submitting bad reviews for me until one day, I get an email to meet our human resource representative about my performance. As we went over everything, I noted that it was my boss's phone and that's what the users were complaining about. I also mentioned that I couldn't touch it either, and how he was threatening to fire me. The representative's jaw dropped. I don't know immediately what happened, but by the end of the day, I get another email stating that the boss didn't work there anymore and to disable his accounts and secure his common access card. I processed this request with the biggest grin cheek to cheek. I found out later that it was the phone, not the bad language that he got fired for. Also, for anyone who doesn't know, if you get caught with your phone in a secure location, they take it and don't give it back due to the risk of compromised data. He had a brand new one that cost over $1,000. The last story is called Library Compliance. Several years ago, I went to return a library book to discover that a drink had spilled on it in my bag. The librarian handling returns sighed and said I'd have to have the damage assessed. Of course, the result was that I had to pay for the book. After an eternity of checking, queuing and searching the system for a price, I paid my £13, despite the price printed on the back being $9. She takes the book and is about to drop it in the returns bin with all the other normal returns when I say, "Hang on. I paid for it. That's my book now, right?" She shrugs and says sure, but then starts to remove the property of the city library sticker. As she pulls at it, the page starts to tear. I say, "Don't damage my book now." She glared back at me as if I was really pushing it and continued to pull. In probably the only moment of my life my brain worked fast enough, I came out with, "If you damage my book in any way, I'll have to charge you for that." She let out a squealing noise and stormed off into the back staff-only area, then returned with her boss, who thrusts the book in my hand and says, "Just take it and leave." Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Let me know what you think about the stories in the comment section below. Have a great day. Bye bye.